Atlanta, the last month of the college football regular season has begun, and after some dominating wins and shocking upsets in Week 9, buckle up because it will be one bumpy ride to the end. Guess what? The initial college football playoff rankings, CFP, came out on Tuesday, and things just got more interesting in the college football world. For those who have not fully gave in to Georgia's dominance this year in the SEC, the Bulldogs' 42-7 victory against rival Florida on Saturday should send loud messages that Georgia is the outright favorite to win the SEC East. Even more, the idea of the Bulldogs playing Alabama in a possible SEC championship game is becoming more and more of a reality. Not to mention, the Bulldogs took the top spot in the CFP rankings. Georgia fans, the pressure is on for your Bulldogs. The Bulldogs' 2019 win against Notre Dame 9 weeks ago looks pretty good on their resume of wins this season. That will be something to really keep an eye on over the next few weeks. It is safe to say that Penn State running back Saquon Barkley is great, but Ohio State's quarterback J.T. Barrett was just a little better in the Buckeyes' come-from-behind victory against the Nittany Lions, 39-38. Now, Urban Meyer's Buckeyes lead the Big Ten East before going on the road to face Big Ten West opponent Iowa on Saturday. It only took 2 touchdowns for Iowa State and 2 interceptions from TCU quarterback Henny Hill to help the Cyclones shock the Horned Frogs, 14-7. With the top spot in Big 12 standings, can the Cyclones hold on to it? Miami survived a close game on the road against North Carolina in ACC action. Notre Dame humbled North Carolina State with the Fighting Irish beating the Wolfpack, 35-14. Mason Rudolph was too much for the Mountaineers as the Oklahoma State outscored West Virginia, 50-39. Northwestern continued its trend of doing special things, upsetting Michigan State, 39-31. What a finish to the end of October, but a start to an even better November. College football fans, hold on tight, because the party is just getting started. Week 10 kicked off Tuesday as Bowling Green defeated Kent State, 44-16. Ohio beat Miami, Ohio, 45-28. On Wednesday, Central Michigan defeated Western Michigan on the road, 35-28, in MAC action. Thursday night features Northern Illinois and Toledo, Ball State at Eastern Michigan, Navy at Temple and Idaho at Troy. On Friday, Marshall will face CUSA East Division leader Florida Atlantic. Number 22 Memphis goes on the road for a game against Tulsa in American Athletic Conference action, while UCLA gets a road test against Utah in Pac-12 conference play. Watch Channel 2 for the big games this weekend. Plus, follow Channel 2 Sports Director Zach Klein as he brings you the latest college football coverage from the Georgia-South Carolina game and college football teams across the state playing in Week 10. Top games on Channel 2. 9. Wisconsin at Indiana, 12 p.m. on Channel 2. Photo, Stephen Branscombe, Getty Images. Indiana, 3-5, has not won a game in Big Ten action this season, but Wisconsin head coach Paul Chryst knows that his Badgers cannot take the Hoosiers for granted. Indiana's game against number 9 Wisconsin on Saturday marks the Hoosiers' third game against a top 5 opponent this season, a big reason why the Hoosiers have 5 losses this season. Despite Indiana's losses, the Hoosiers have proven they can be productive offensively against the better teams in the conference. Think back to Indiana's performance against Ohio State in its home opener. Even though the Hoosiers lost 49-21, some forget that the game was, at one point, tied at 14. Ohio State struggled to move the ball early on in the game. The passing game has been a major asset for Indiana, but injuries have hurt the Hoosiers this season, starting at the quarterback position. Redshirt freshman quarterback Peyton Ramsey, who suffered an undisclosed injury, has thrown for 1,252, 10 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Thus, a fifth-year senior quarterback Richard Lago will assume the duties under center for Indiana. If the Hoosiers want to get in what would be a major upset against Wisconsin, and its first conference win of the season. It will come at the hands of Lago and 6'4" wide receiver Simmie Cobbs Jr. Cobbs has given defensive secondaries fits all season with his size. He leads the conference in catches with 54, recording 600 yards and 5 touchdowns. Unless something drastic happens in Saturday's game, the Badgers have too much offensive firepower for the Hoosiers, especially on the ground. Wisconsin has a series of running backs who can really wear down defenses over the course of a game. Freshman running back Jonathan Taylor leads the team in rushing with 1,185 yards on 161 carries for 11 touchdowns. Christ will definitely plan to utilize Taylor's impact to get the Badgers another win against the Hoosiers' defense, giving up 124 yards on the ground and a total of 382 yards per game. Combine Taylor's production with the impact of quarterback Alex Hornibrook, who has thrown for 1,570 yards and 13 touchdowns. The only negative for Hornibrook is that he has 8 interceptions. Depending on if Indiana can get pressure on him will determine if Hornibrook accumulates more interceptions in Saturday's game. Looking at the Hoosiers' pass defense, one that gives up 258 yards through the air to their opponents, Hornibrook could be in for a solid day through the air. In the end, Indiana will find ways to score, but Wisconsin's rushing attack will wear down the Hoosiers' defense. When it does, Hornibrook will make necessary passes down the field for an offense that could potentially dominate the Hoosiers from start to finish.